Hey folks, Carl here and welcome to episode 3 of the Tamiya Mark 3 Stroke 4 Red On. Okay folks, so we are on to episode 3. Last episode we of course built the tracks and bogies. This episode we are going to be starting the lower hull. So we're going to get all this stuff out of the box and find the instructions because I'm somewhere safe. And we shall get on. So, in a moment. Okay, folks, so after literally several hours of searching and turning my model room upside down, the only part of the instructions I could find, the information leaflet. So, no idea where they've gone. I have obviously put them somewhere very, very safe. However, those that have done this before will know the place to go is Scalemates, and they are here to the rescue. So, we've got some more. And we've printed them off. It's supposed to have been printed double side, but so we are obviously back page 1 going to get our hull built up because obviously we've done bogies and the wheels, and we've also done the tracks. So we that folded neat. So we, like I say, are getting this done. So we get the sprues out again, and we'll talk to you in a moment. Okay, folks, so the main sprue for this is, of course, sprue C in the instructions. 3 main parts we have cut off the sprue. We are going to get them cleaned up and put together. Nothing overly complicated for this. Looks like it's a nice bit because they are rigid and everything, so it should just slot together easy. So I'm going to get this all cleaned up, put together, and we'll come back. Look, doing next. So, again, in a moment. Okay, folks. So the bucket is complete. Went together really well. The markers on the pieces themselves. Make sure you can't really make any mistakes, and it slots together quite nicely. Obviously, we have now got the rest of the parts for part 1 to get off the sprues cleaned up and glued in place. So I'm going to get that done obviously off camera. Any issues or problems we have while doing that, obviously we'll start recording and I'll show you exactly what's going on. So talk to you in a moment. Okay folks, so we've come across our first unusual bit, and that is part C2 in the instructions right here. Now this part just slots into the back of the hull here, just slots in there like that, and I thought, what an unusual piece. Maybe it's some part that we're going to see later on. So I had a quick look through the instructions just to see what it was, and all it is, it's a guide for the top part of the turret here, just a guide so it sits in the right position. But if you ever come across an unusual piece like this, just in case it's a piece that shows, it's always worthwhile looking through the instructions just to have a look, see what it is, just so you know how to dress it. So there's no need to really clean any of this up, so we're just going to continue, get it glued into place, and then continue with the build. So just so you know where we're at the moment, we've got this front section of the hull completed. More parts than I was expecting. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts in there. Easy enough to build, a little bit fiddly to get these side sections onto the main middle section here. But yeah, a little bit of patience, a little bit of time, and it goes together reasonably easy. So I'm going to carry on with this, and we shall talk to you if there are any problems or issues. So talk to you in a moment. Okay folks, so as you can see, we have brought the camera down a bit to show you parts 74 and part 75 of this kit. which are these parts here, and obviously on the other side as well. Now, on the hull itself, that's how it sits and looks. I'm just looking to see if that's in focus. It was. Come on, focus. Focus for me, come on. I hate cameras. There we go. So it just sits like that. As you can see, there is a little dimple there. If you flip it over onto the other side where we've not put the piece in yet, you can see that little dimple right there. And just as I point to it, it goes out of focus. So, just there. That dimple's there to stop you from sliding this piece too far back, because it will just about sit on top, like so, if you're not careful. Come on, focus. Up and down a little bit. There we go. So it will sit on top like that. You don't want it like that because it will be out of alignment. You just want to literally push it up to that little dimple, like so. Come on, focus. Come on, focus. It's not going to focus now. Come on, you thing. Okay, it's not going to focus for me. Not going to focus. Let me just move this light out of the way a little bit. See if that helps. So, come on, focus for me. There we go. You can see. Make sure it pushes up to that little dimple. Just like so. And then get a touch of glue onto it. Just to get it to stay in place. Just like so. And that is enough. So, let's put this camera. Make sure this is solid and in place. And it is. So, put that down. And we'll bring the camera back up to where it should be. Okay, so there we go. Those pieces are now in place. We are almost finished with this one now. All we've got to put on is this front section, which is literally just going to sit somewhere at the front here, like so. It looks and sits quite far back. So we're going to get that glued in place, and we should be back momentarily. Okay, folks, that is part one all complete. No issues building this part. Went together reasonably well. Yeah, no problems at all. So part one is complete. Part two we've already done in the previous video. Part three is showing us to put the bogies onto the lower hull. I'm not going to do that just yet, and there's a couple of pieces to put on the back here as well, which are these here. Not going to do that just yet. We're going to move on to stage four. We're going to get these side skirts built up, see how they fit onto the model, and see if we need to put the bogies on or not, or if we're going to have to keep these side skirts off as well. Depends on what it looks like and how easy it is to access everything on the sides once we get that part done. And then obviously it's putting the tracks on, which we've already built the tracks, but we're not going to do that either. Okay, folks, so as you can probably see, we have gone back to the old camera. We've tried using the webcam to make it a little bit more convenient for recording and stuff. I just need to have one camera set up here then. However, the quality of the audio isn't great. You have to keep resetting the audio all the time. The autofocus keeps messing about. So we've gone back to the previous camcorder, as it's much better picture, much better quality. So where were we? We were just building these parts up. Now, I wasn't 100% sure what these rails were actually for. As you can see, we've done the other side. We've glued it in place, like so. And I was quite surprised. These are actually the runners for the track. So, got a piece of track here. So this will just, basically the track runs across the top of the runners, like so. Which I thought was quite clever. So, anyway, pretty simple to make, nothing overly difficult. Just push them on, glue them on the back, and then these have got pins across the top edge here. You literally just put them in with the holes that are on the model in place like so. Pushes down onto these struts here, and then you literally just glue it in place. So, a little bit of glue, a little dab there, little dab there, and we'll put a little dab across there, and then we're just going to hold it in place for a few seconds, and that is it, glued in place. So we are moving along with the lower hull quite nicely. We've still got these pins to remove on these eye bolts at the front of the tank, but we'll leave them on for now. So where are we up to next? So that part is complete. Which is this. Oh, you might have noticed as well, we put a few of the wheels on. These are just push fitted at the moment. They're not glued in place because they do have rubber grommets. So we have completed that. We're not putting the wheels on as discussed previously. So next was the track. Again, we've already done. So next is moving on with some of the parts on the upper hull on the underside. So I'm going to start working on that. Again, as always, any issues or any problems, we'll be back and talk to you in a moment. Okay, folks, so we are almost done with the underside of this tank. We're just going to zoom in a little bit. So we've put the poly caps inside here and put this top cap on. That is just going to assist with gripping this part of the back to keep it steady and make it nice and easy to remove if we want to. We've also gone and put these back sections on here. Nice and easy, nothing difficult. We are just about to put this sliding cover in. So this is a two-piece, just nice and easy to put together. Bit of glue, that sits on top of there, like so. And as you can see, it slides forwards and back. See it from the top. And just slide open. Just like that. And to hold it in place, we have this part. Now, this got part does have some bits on you've got to take off. It shows you in the instructions which part to clean away, and it literally just sits. Let me zoom in a little bit closer if we can. Let's have a look. There we go. So this part sits right on top there, like so. And it sits quite snugly once it's pushed into place. And then, of course, this slides forward and back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push that back in position, push this down, and I'm going to glue just that front edge because we don't want to catch the sliding part with any glue. So just a dab of glue on the front. I'm just going to push it into place. We'll leave that to dry as it is there, and then we'll add a little bit more glue down the side just to make sure, yeah, keeping this sliding part away from that connection. Probably be easier if I do this. Yeah, keep it away from that connection. And these parts here on the sides, we should be able to glue in place without any worry. So I'm going to leave that to dry. We will zoom back out. Okay, so that part is done. The last part on there is to drill out a 1mm hole just here. Don't know if zooming in is actually going to show you that hole. So 1mm hole there. I just put some glue onto it just to soften up the edges of where the drill bit had raised some of the plastic. Yeah. So that's the last part on that section. So we are going to be moving on to the next part. Again, there's a small piece of extra track to make there. These are called side markers. I'm not 100% sure what they do, so we'll get those made. And then we are going to be moving on to the upper part of the hull. We're getting all the grills and stuff like that in place. So, as always, I'm going to start doing it. I'm going to leave this to dry for about 10-15 minutes or so before we flip it over and start doing stuff. So, I'm going to get on with that. Again, any issues or problems, we'll be right back and we'll show you how we're doing. Talk to you in a moment. Okay, folks, so we are working away. We are working on the back section here at the moment. We're just starting to put these covers on here. Now, I'm going to zoom in so I can show you this. A little bit awkward. I never noticed till I put this second one on. There isn't one here, but there was, and there is on the rest of them. There is a tiny little nub. Is that in focus? Here. And then there's another one here and here. So you're going to need to shave these nubs off. Otherwise, they don't sit flat on the model. They sit skew and you can't get these pins lined up at the top properly. And it just doesn't look flat when they're sitting on the model. So just keep that in mind. If it's not fitting properly, you've probably forgotten to take these little nubs off on these sections here. So just thought I'd record a quick bit, show you that. It caught me out. I don't think it shows you in the instructions to do that anywhere. I'm just looking now to see if it does show you, and no, it doesn't show you to do that. Okay, so take that in mind. Take those little nubs off or they don't sit properly. So I'm going to continue and we'll be back in a moment. Okay, folks, so we are currently working on section 10 of the instructions, and we're working on this little sub-assembly here for the exhaust. Now, a little bit complicated in the fact that you have to put these connections let me zoom in rather than coming out of the light. So you have to put these sub-connections in here for the exhaust pipes in a specific manner. Showing you here how to do it. Now, thankfully, the parts A4 are squared, so you can't get those in the wrong position, but you can get D65 and D66 in the wrong place because it's just a round connection and you can spin it to what position you want. Now, I have gone and done the first side, which is the left-hand side here. So I've not done it how they've said there. What I've done is I've taken the piece and I've glued them into place like so. So they are in the right place. Let's see if we can zoom down here a little bit more and stay in focus. So you've got, come on, focus. There we go. So you've got those parts there now. Like I say, parts A4, the bottom one, is a square peg, so you can only get it in certain ways. But this one you can spin. So if you look at part L3 and then look at the part we've done, you can see that they are in the right place. Now we're just going to repeat it on the other side. On the instructions, it shows you the right hand side. It shows you the best angles to put it in. You can tell which is left and right because it's got these little points here. It shows you the shape of the piece. So the right hand side, there, focus, there we go. You can see it follows the instructions. So just keep an eye for that. Let's say it's a square peg for the A4 piece, but the 66 on this side. is round, so you can angle it to where you need it. All right, so just thought I'd stop and show you that. Other progress so far, we've pretty much just been working on the back end. Got a few pieces into place, not a huge amount. A few pieces I'm a little bit nervous about, i.e. this piece here, because I know what I'm like, and there's a good chance that is going to disappear. And this piece on the bottom here as well. Looks like some sort of light or something. Again, I know my clumsy hand, that is likely to disappear. We've put a piece in here, a little hook. No idea what it's used for. And a couple of pegs here for opening up. So you unpeg it and this piece will lift up or off to access to the engine. So those are in place as well. That's pretty much as far as we've got. Oh, we have gone and built the tracks at the front here. Zoom out a little bit. The tracks at the front, we're not going to glue these in place, but we have gone and put the brackets on to that track that hold it onto the front of the hull. So they both go, one there and the other one obviously on the other side. We're not going to glue those in place just yet. Same for all the tools on the top of the tank. We're not going to use the tools on the top of the tank either. We're going to paint those separately, hopefully. We'll see. So we pretty much have, we're just building this sub-assembly here. We've just done all that. That's what I've just shown you. And whether I'm going to attach it or not, because I think this exhaust attaches to the rear on the main hull on this section here. So we may very well get the top exhaust on this part, but I don't think we'll get any of this attached. It may very well end up being painted separate and put on after the fact. And after that, we are moving on to some parts again that we're not going to be doing. And I think there's some small parts to put on, and then it's onto the upper turret. So I'm going to finish getting this sub-assembly built here and see what else we can get added on, and we'll be back very, very shortly. Okay, folks, so as you can see, we have now finished the upper hull, especially the rear section. All the exhausts are in place. We've added a couple of extra eyelets here on the back. That, like I say, is the upper hull done as far as we are going to be taking it. Obviously, there's still tools, these additional tracks to add, and some other little bits and pieces that I know if I put on, they're just going to disappear. We also finished the rear exhaust. This is not glued in place yet. If I am to glue it in place, it makes adding the connection pipes from this to this a lot more awkward to put into place. So for now, we're going to be leaving off. Whether we paint it separately or together, I'm not sure yet. We're going to get some more of the build finished and do some test fitting and things like that to see what was going to be the best way to paint this. So for now, we're done with the lower hull and the upper hull. The next stage in the instructions was step 11, and this is where they've effectively put everything together and they're putting the side skirts on, lights, more of the little greebly details. So obviously we are not doing that just yet. So the next stage is the turret. I'm not sure how long this video has gone on for, as usual. Could be 5 minutes, could be an hour and 20 minutes, and we don't want a video to be that long. So I'm going to call this video here done. And when we come to the next episode, we will be doing the turret and the gun. So, as always, thank you all very much for watching. Be good, be safe, and as always, keep making models, and we will catch you next time. Ta-ta.